the power of the movies and all of that.
Very
Just it's all
true.
make believe.
Yeah, it's true.
Should we crack on a little bit because
We
I
should,
think
yeah,
this
crack
week,
on.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, so this week being movie week, I mean, obviously it was incredibly iconic. We had some amazing looks, and we really need to get into that because obviously, we need to talk about the fact that we lost Brendan and Fern, and everybody was
Yes.
devastated. And I totally get that, but we're not here to talk about the skating tonight. We're here to talk about the glam.
The glam and the glamour and all them looks. And that's why I especially love movie weeks because we have so many. I think the hair and makeup team and costumes must love it too because it's a week that you can really, go full out. I don't hold back, go big, go home. So should we just crack on? Obviously, the first couple to open the show was Dan Edgar and Vanessa James Amorous. And they, of
Yes.
course, there they are. They came out as Bond and Bond Girl. Look at that. What a great shot, actually, there. He's really giving it large, Dan. I love it. Obviously, I think he just has the look for James Bond. I mean, he just has that smile. He is, handsome as, melting the ice. And obviously, Vanessa as well here looks amazing in her costume and the way they really made her a glowing gold Bond girl.
She was like a gold goddess. I have to say,
Yeah.
it's a little bit tricky with Dan and Vanessa because I feel that he's got this amazing smile. He dazzles you with his smile, honestly, but he's not as strong a personality as some of the other characters that we're seeing. And I feel that because of that, they're going to have to really give him strong characters to portray and to embody. And I think
Yes.
obviously when you look at him, the first week we saw him dressed as a courtesan, and this week we're seeing him dressed as James Bond. These are really, really strong characters. And I think that's really helping with his acting. I mean, obviously, here he is in his suit. I mean, if you literally, he could be at a James Bond audition, and I would give him the role.
Yes, I agree. I agree. It's all very well casted, I have to say. I think it's obviously again, if you go with some of the looks that we'll see further down the line, like you said, it was perfectly cast. But again, and he probably was to his capabilities of acting in a sense. I don't know if he would have liked being in, for example, a bear suit. But again, what's so great on this night as well is that we as viewers get the full show. We get to see all these different numbers and all these different characters and looks as well. So that's what's so exciting, I think, to see all the differences.
But I need to point out here how glorious
Mm,
Vanessa James Amoro's makeup is. I mean, she could be straight from the center pages of a magazine here. We're looking
definitely.
at a really smoky eye, really elongated smoky eye, much darker of a look than she had last week. And then obviously highlighted with the gold. They've given her some really nice highlighting here down the bridge of her nose, and across her
Yes,
cheeks. I just think she's absolutely glowing there.
she is. And I love how they actually paid attention to, you can see her little, maybe it could be personal jewelry as well, but sometimes they do, from the costume team, they give you earrings or a necklace to wear as well. And I just really like all those small details as well there. That was like fine tuning as well. So and again, I did say last week that I enjoy when we see different type of costumes. We don't just see the lycra, we can see a bit of, and here she actually had a bit of a different skirt as well on with the tulle. So
Yeah, I'm not sure that I loved the tulle skirts. You know, for a Bond themed outfit, I would have expected something maybe a little bit more sophisticated or maybe a little bit sexier. I mean, she's sexy
yeah,
anyway. So that's all good.
yeah.
She's got that covered. But I'm not sure if that was a little bit too twee and fairy like for me. That would have been
Yeah,
equally at home, I think, in a Disney type of character.
yeah, no, I can definitely see your point there. Again, I said I appreciate different fabrics, but I also, it could have been a bit more. Maybe they were just trying to keep the ice from melting. Obviously, they skated first. They couldn't have gone all too hotness overload, or there wouldn't have been no ice for the rest of the couple to skate on. So,
You're not wrong. I mean, Dan's melting the ice as it is. Yeah, so I would give them probably an 8 out of 10 just because Vanessa looked so beautiful. There's not much you can do with Dan and James Bond. Of course, he's going to be a tuxedo, and that's kind of a done deal. But
yeah,
really, for the look that they gave Vanessa, I think she looks absolutely radiant. Just
yes, I
maybe lose the
agree on
tulle skirt.
that. All right, yeah, we'll send a little note with that, but she looked gorgeous. And obviously, second to skate, we had Fern and Brendan. I love this. This was the trolls, and this was just so fun. All those colors, so much, I mean, rainbow colors, fun, funky. So went so with the music, with the tunes, with the choreography, and I feel like they really gave it their all. So I'm really, obviously, no, we know the results here, but I'm heartbroken because I really could see them putting everything into this number, and that goes for like down to, Brendan. That's a wig or a hairpiece on him as well, and she's in a full wig and everything. So they really had some fun with this.
So I have to agree. I mean, your hair is defying gravity today, but this is, it's actually gone stratospheric. It's in space. I think she's probably picking up satellite signals with that hair. And actually,
Yep.
Brendan isn't far behind her. So I like that they even, colored his facial hair. They went to a lot of
Yes.
detail on his eyebrows. I think perhaps I would have liked his face to have been a different color, maybe a whiter color, to show that up a little bit more. But I mean, look at this. This look just screams fun. And I mean, it was Trolls, so you're appealing to the kind of age group that are really going to love this movie, and I'm all over it.
Yes, I totally agree. And I love the details. Like I said, the boot covers that they had with rainbow colors as well and everything. I think this was a really fun creative. We talked about creatives a little bit last week, and I think it's good to point out that obviously all these numbers are such a big production in making many weeks prior, obviously with the creative team choosing, starting to think about these not, if it's a themed week, thinking about the music, what style would fit, what kind of character, everything. And it goes down to, the screens they're on behind the couple when they skate. It's something that everybody gets to take a part of, and the pros also get told this, a week prior as well, a bit more maybe, to have time to think about really all that, and implement it into choreography as well, what they're going to be wearing, if there's a prop on set as well, and all these things. So it's a big task for everybody involved.
Now, speaking of details, and the devil is definitely in the details, when we look at her face in close up, I mean, look at this. A full
Yeah.
pink eyebrow. She's got pink stars. I mean, that is a completely pink face. And I don't think anybody else except Fern could have carried that off and still look absolutely stunning. I know if I'd have painted my face pink like that, I would have looked just like a giant lollipop. But she still looks like a completely glorious glamour model.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's so gorgeous. And obviously we went a bit, our theme was a bit of pink today. And I kind of find it hard sometimes to do pink justice. You don't, you want it to be the right shade of pink. You want it to be, just going with the skin tone as well and stuff. So she looked gorgeous there. And she, like you said, she really pulled it off as well.
And I think, as you mentioned, 10 out of 10 for those boot covers. I would not have wanted to skate in those.
I kind of want them. I think they're amazing. But yeah, no, they were probably a bit on the hotter side. But at least she had warm calves, Brendan too.
Fluffy. Well, we were really sorry to see them go. I
Yes.
think that was probably a bit of a shock to everybody. So if you guys are listening, or if you do get to catch up with us later in the week, we're sending lots of love.
Yes. And we thought you skated fabulously, and I was bopping around laughing. All right, moving on to now skating. Third was Michaela and Mark. And obviously they skated to Sound of Music. And I thought this was one of the two of the night, actually. I would say really uncanny, like how look-alike. I mean, she was a gorgeous Maria, looked just like Julie Andrews. I think Michaela herself posted on socials this week that she herself thought it was a remarkable change, to that they made it look just like Maria. And obviously Mark there is Captain von Trapp, which he's handsomely empowering as well.
It's a difficult one because obviously it was war era. The whole Sound of Music film was war era. So they've gone for a kind of like a more utilitarian
Yeah.
color book, the grays, the blacks, the whites. There was nothing particularly, glamorous or playful about this, which could have taken away from the performance. And I think people at home possibly don't appreciate how much a costume can add to a performance. So if they're going to give you a gray kind of pinafore, or a gray kind of really quite a dull look, quite a wartime look actually, that can really put you in a different headspace, and it can make you feel a little bit like, wow, I need to tone everything down, and I need to kind of match the creative that I've been given. I don't think that this look took away from their routine at all. It was one of the outstanding performances of the night, of course. But there isn't much you can do when you turn up to costume on Monday morning and they give you that, and you think, oh, okay, dialing it down, people.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. And just like we talked about these creatives, it's very true. Obviously, they want to have the contrast on the show that not everybody can have, your troll screens and all that popping color, because you want to have it, a show that covers all the colors and all the spectrums and all different fun numbers, and also your romantic pieces and your stuff. But I was a very different. We went from that high troll to this, but like you said, equally just they really empowered and embodied us, and I was transported into those Alps.
Yeah, the storytelling was amazing, but even if you look at her makeup, and you're right, she was a bit of a dead ringer for Maria here, for Julie Andrews. And I think she's got that kind of those elfin features anyway, very,
Yes.
very
Mm.
small, petite facial features. But they did give her a bit of a grey wash, I think. They really went all out with making it look kind of wartime,
Yeah.
and giving them. It was more of a make under, really. They kind of gave them a bit of a make under, and I mean, she's a stunning woman. She's got great
Yeah.
bone structure. She's got wonderful smile, great eyes. But I definitely feel that she wouldn't have been feeling as glamorous as the rest of the cast when she showed up for the lineup.
No, well, I hope she felt, but yeah, I understand what you're saying there too. I mean, sometimes I've had those weeks too where I thought maybe that my look wasn't as fun or something. You're peeking across and, oh, I wanted to have that wig or that hair or something. But actually going back, when I can take that moment away from it, I realized that it was an amazing. They gave me an amazing creative as well, and it was an amazing number, and the look as well really went with it. So, um,
Yeah, they definitely pulled it all together, and I mean, there was no doubt
definitely.
about it. We were definitely feeling all the Sound of Music vibes. So I mean, a brilliant creative, but something very different to what we're used to seeing on Dancing on Ice for sure.
Definitely, definitely. And then obviously we're moving on again to another completely different vibe. This was Chris with Vanessa Bauer, and they skated to Barbie, or I'm Just Ken, obviously Ken and Barbie. So this was again. What did you think of this? What was your first thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously, hello, Hollywood A-lister. I mean, Chris was in the Barbie movie, so it was sure to happen that sooner or later he was going to get to skate to I'm Just Ken. And I think he really, really took that on board. He was brilliant, wasn't he? He started off all by himself, and he's such a good, you can tell he's such good fun. I was surprised that they put Vanessa in the black and white. I think, with her being the Barbie, and I mean, she looked great. I mean, she looked fantastic. But I would have thought they'd have put her in pink. When we
I
think of
know.
the Barbie movie, yeah, maybe they had a lot of pink going on in the show. I mean, she had that fantastic hairpiece, which, make no mistake, would have been very heavy to skate in. I mean, that's a lot of weight on the back of the head. So
Yes.
I think she did really well with that. But the black and white, it looks very stunning. It was very striking. I was surprised though that they didn't go full pink and white gingham. I think they could have had a lot of fun with some pink and white gingham. Obviously, her black and white matched him,
Yeah.
and he went all out leather for the I Am Ken 100%
Yeah, no, I
look.
I loved it, and I think you're right. Both the things that I think they wanted him to match, and I think they maybe had a lot of pink in the show anyway, so they wanted to go with a bit of more stronger colors as well. And just seeing Vanessa in blonde there must have been a, I don't know if she's been blonde on the show before, maybe she has, but it was a beautiful. This is a full wig, obviously, so it's a whole thing to get it on. Obviously, you want to make it really tight. Vanessa has really dark hair, naturally, so obviously you want to make sure that that hairline is put on really nicely to match obviously your own hairline, and then so you don't see any black hair or dark hair coming out underneath. And what they do sometimes even is put a bit of makeup on there as well, to really hide it. But like I said, the team is just so talented and gorgeous. So this was a really another spectacular look that they just pulled off so easily.
And I think what's interesting about this is the fringe. Look at the height on that fringe. And I don't know if you remember back in maybe 2010, maybe 2011, Katie Stainsby, when she was skating with Vanilla Ice, she had a look similar to this. And she and I had a lot of laughs around her fringe. But actually, that really suits Vanessa's face. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought to put that on her face, but it actually really suits her. And there she is with a red lip. Now, last week she had a very defined cut crease, and this week they've gone with just the black cat eye, which I think
Yeah.
also suits her face. But yeah, I was not what I was expecting when I thought of Barbie initially. So I think it was a bold choice for sure.
Yeah, I agree. But I think this is where Marcus really is great as well. And he can think sometimes outside the box as well. And you're not going with maybe what people are expecting at home, and you go with something a little bit, or not a little bit, completely different. And that's another way to intrigue people and intrigue viewers.
Now I have to show you this picture that was screen grab that we grabbed there of Chris. I
Yeah.
mean, he's gone full. Look at him. He's a total player in that. I mean, he's embodying everything that
Yeah, no,
that Ken needs
I
to.
love that coat is amazing, and then obviously the headband too, which has sparkles on it, and again the details with the necklace and everything. I just thought it was really just spot on as well. He was really, really a good Ken. Maybe he's gonna be unhappy not to be Ken this week, whatever they're gonna do for next week's skate. But I'm sure he's gonna miss that role just a little
I
bit.
bet he's missing it already. We have to move on now to one of my
Yeah.
favorite looks of the
Yes. I was
night.
gonna say this was probably my favorite. I would say too. I just thought it was so much fun. This is obviously Sam and Molly skating to the Jungle Book, and obviously I think he's very clear for me. He's the bear that was pretty out there. So he's Baloo. But for a while, it took me. I was so into the number and everything that I just loved everything about it. And it wasn't until afterwards I started analyzing. I was like, was she? I think I even texted you. I was like, was she Mowgli? And you were like, no, no, Alex, she's not a boy in a loincloth. And I was like, no, of course she's not. But but for a moment I wasn't really. I just loved all about it. So I hadn't really analyzed what she was. But I think we've managed to figure it out.
Well, I think she was the orangutan. I think actually she posted on her
Yeah.
socials, didn't she? Or somebody posted on the
Yeah.
socials that she was the orangutan. She was a glamorous orangutan, so that's why it was hard to figure. What I really liked about this was actually, I don't know if you noticed the details. I mean, obviously, this would have been a long time in makeup. And actually, guys, if you stick around to the end of the show today, I'm going to show you how to quickly do a cat face or a tiger face. Now, obviously, you might never ever have a situation in life where you need to make up like a tiger or go out to the supermarket dressed as a tiger, but maybe you've got kids, or maybe you've got, nieces, nephews, or children in your life that want to go and have their face painted. So I'm going to teach you quickly how to do that. I'm just going to do a quarter of my face. Obviously, these guys had full face paint, and that would have taken a really long time, but I'm going to show you how to do it in pretty quickly anyway, and so you can have fun with the kids. I know my stepchildren used to love it when I'd get the face paints out. But this is next level. I mean, the shading on his face, it's grey with the
Yes.
white muzzle and the all the different shades and whiskers and bits of fur that they put on him. I think this, when you see yourself transform like that in the mirror, and let's face it, he's completely unrecognizable. When you when you see that kind of transformation, you can't help but then get into character, because people start to treat you differently when you're walking around the backstage like that.
Definitely. And like you just, it's a full outfit. I mean, it covers them head to toe. So again, a lot of kudos to them, because that's not an easy outfit to skate in as well for both of them. You're going to be wearing that for a big part of the day. So it's very hot in there. Skating feels different, like we talked about before. And it definitely feels different with such a big, it's basically a full skin, a character costume outfit, and then with the full wig and makeup and everything. So I think they just took it on board brilliantly, and it was a beautiful, beautiful, fun piece to watch as well.
I think what people at home possibly don't realize as well is when we talk about a skin, we mean a costume that
Good point.
looks
Yes.
like, yeah, looks is from head to toe and looks like a completely different character. So it's not what you would typically wear to a skating show or a skating competition. Generally, we tend to wear costumes that are quite form-fitting or quite tight.
Yeah.
Maybe you would wear a suit, maybe you would wear a dress, but they generally tend to have the same sort of shapes as skating costumes do, because it makes it easier to work with. But when we talk about a skin, that's something completely removed. It's something that you would see, perhaps like we saw last week as Mickey Mouse, that would be considered a skin.
Yeah.
If you saw somebody dressed as a dinosaur, that would be considered a skin. This is a full skin, and it is a skill. It's a different skill. Not everybody, not even all professional skaters, get to learn or to understand what it feels like to skate in a skin. I have skated in a skin, and it's hard work. It's hot because those things are usually padded. In his case, obviously, it was faux fur. It changes your center of gravity because it's heavy. It's like wearing two or three trench overcoats. And obviously, it's full length all the way down to the feet. It's a trip hazard because you often can get your feet stuck into the trousers of the skin or whatever it is, the character that you're wearing. So I think he did a brilliant job. But one thing I'm going to point out, Alex, is I think you've got competition. You've got competition for the big fringe there.
I think so, but I think obviously I don't think this is his own hair. I would take a big wild guess and say that that's a wig. So
Maybe Dancing on Ice is Asian and he's gone grey overnight.
Yeah, well, sometimes the stress of standing in that tunnel, I don't blame them. Sometimes I feel like I got a few gray hairs from that as well.
Uh,
But no, it
brilliant
was a
brilliant
brilliant
performance. That
performance.
they ended up top of the leaderboard, joint top of the leaderboard with Michaela. So it's getting tight up there already.
Definitely. And next we had a completely different look again. This is Sir Steve and Vicky, and they of course impersonated Godfather. And this was, I mean, I quite really enjoyed this because it was so fun. Obviously, they showed as well kind of what went wrong again. He had a set piece, a big table, and a chair to start off the routine to really get us in the mood for Godfather and really bring that epic scene from the movie into the onto the ice. But that's what you see. It's not even that, you know, it can be more scary sometimes having a prop to work with.
So I was calling him on our live broadcast and on our other podcast episode that I did with Matt Evers earlier in the week on the Icebreakers podcast. I was calling Steve the "Oh my Godfather" because honestly, it was
Yeah.
astonishing how terrifying he was when he was behind the desk, and then when he came out from the desk and started skating, I was just terrified for him, really.
Yes, really. No, it was a fun moment. But I thought obviously I kind of like this. It was a bit of again, I love that he's wearing a hat again. Maybe we'll see if he wears a hat again for his third performance. It's maybe ongoing theme. But they had a bit of a tango vibe as well with the way they gone with the striped suit, a bit of Peaky Blinder, but obviously then the did you notice that he had the red rose obviously on his suit and Vicky had the black rose on her dress and Vicky looked just stunning. I really like this look for her in the red. It's very sultry. And again, I kind of, if you look at Vicky's makeup, I love that they've done this kind of, it's a red lip, but it's a matte lip as well, which I think was a really, love it. Usually you do red and you do it quite glossy or you do it with sparkles, but this was a very matte lip, but still red. So it was still out there and you really got the gist of it, but it was still, again, just a subtle difference to it that you can really just change the look with.
Yeah, and I think actually I would always prefer a matte lipstick over a glossy lipstick when I'm skating because as we tend to skate really, really fast, I mean, maybe not so much in Vicky's case and Steve's case, but as you get moving, your hair will fly around. And if you've got a really sticky lipstick, it does tend to stick to your lips. So
True.
that's really unpleasant feeling. And obviously, then if it's happened once, you're constantly thinking about it and trying to keep your hair out of your face, and it's a bit annoying. So sometimes when you have a matte lip, it can be just much more conducive to enjoying. It's one less thing to think about during your performance. The same with eyelashes. Your hair can sometimes get stuck in your eyelashes, and that can be actually very painful and quite dangerous. But
Yeah.
with the lipsticks, if you can keep that away from your face, just again, one less thing to think about because she's obviously doing such a great job and having to concentrate for the two of them while she's skating with
Yeah.
Steve at the moment, while he's still catching up and learning.
Well, we'll see about that hat. Maybe it's going to be a hat trick next week for them. But yeah, moving
A
on again.
hat trick! Look at you!
Trying. It took a while, went there. All right, skating after them was Antoinette, and this is obviously this is Anton as Wolverine. They kind of impersonated the whole Marvel. So she was Deadpool, he was Wolverine, and I think obviously you and Matt actually talked a little bit as well about their outfits here, more from a skating point of view. But I thought it was it was a very Annette here probably has one of my favorite looks of the night as well. I just thought she looked really fierce in that red cat suit. And obviously, Anton, you look very good as well in the yellow cat suit. But I think I'd pick the red one if I had the choice.
I think we'd all pick the red one if we had the choice. I think what's interesting about this is, for Anton being a footballer, he's used to wearing sporty clothes that are just very comfortable, shorts and a t-shirt, socks. They're just form versus function,
Yeah.
really. I mean, literally, there's nothing about that that's not comfortable. It's entirely designed for him to be able to do his job. Now, having said that, a cat suit is entirely designed for you to be able to do your job as an ice skater, but something that your average man will never ever get to experience. So the fact that it didn't put him off and he still pulled out an incredible performance, I think was really impressive. And the way that they transformed him to look like Wolverine was incredible. When they came out, I was blown away like you. First of all, by Annette with her wonderful red and the mesh that they had on her face, all this stoning that was around the top half of her face,
Yeah.
the way they'd continued that red through her hair, and the hairpiece. But honestly, when you look at Anton here and what the work that they've done into transforming him into the Wolverine, I think it's really incredible.
Yeah. He looks like he's enjoying it too. So obviously he's enjoying the transformation here and just probably the eyebrows as well, and that wig, half wig. Probably a full
Those are
wig
some
actually.
serious eyebrows, people.
I know eyebrows are in, but they're very very serious. But this is no, I love this look for them, and I thought the number was really really fun, and again different as well. It was kind of, they skated seventh, so it was middle spot as well. So I thought it was something that really came out and popped and was like, oh, another movie. It was something that at least stuck with me for the whole show. So I thought it was a very fun number, but also really fun costumes and fun look.
Yeah, incredibly striking. Now, I think what really stuck out for me here is this photo of Annette in makeup, and that shows that they are individually applying each stone.
Yeah,
That would have taken literally hours. She would have had her breakfast and her lunch in the makeup chair as she got those stones applied to her face. Now, when you and I first saw this, we both thought that that was a mesh piece that they'd glued to her head, but
yeah,
actually it was a mesh of stones that they'd glued to her face individually,
yeah.
each one stuck on one by one. That is quite the task.
It is.
I'm sure she would have fallen asleep during that process at some point because she would have just been laying there for hours.
No, and it's again another just amazing eloge to our hair and makeup team, obviously costumes as well, but hair and makeup team for this, and the patience they have to put that on, and possibly reapplying a few stones that maybe could have fallen off throughout the day as well, because obviously she gets in and you have your rehearsal, you have camera blocks, you have a dress run, so it's and for Annette as well. I wore a few stones, sometimes not that many on my face, but with they put it on usually with the glue as well, so it gets a bit stiff as well. And obviously I move my face quite a lot just smiling, and especially on your cheek area. So again, maybe not the most comfortable thing to be wearing for a 15-16 hour day, but she looked absolutely fierce. So was worth it. Look at that photo. That's amazing.
Well, beauty is pain in this case for sure, but I'm sure it was worth it. And you're right, she embodied the whole Deadpool vibe and she looked cute and sexy with it. I just thought it was a really brilliant look. And you're right, well done to the makeup team for pulling this together because I
Yeah,
think it would have been easy to just stick a Deadpool mask on her and say, oh, there you go. But actually what they
exactly.
did was they transformed her, but still kept her own character and personality visible beneath that Deadpool character.
Yes. Yeah, very true. No, I really love that look. I would wear that for Halloween. So they're free to come and make me up as well. We'll set 12 hours aside for that.
Okay,
But no,
we need to
moving
move
on.
on to the most iconic transformation of the evening. I'm sure everyone at home knows what we're talking about.
Yes, I found it really, I didn't know. It was uncanny for me. It was a bit, there it is. And again, especially in that photo as well. So obviously we have here skating second last was Charlie and Eric, and they did Ghost. So they're Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. And I think both of them, but especially Eric, this is a really uncanny transformation. I mean, I, uh, I was really stunned when they came out.
He came down that tunnel and I gave not a second, not a third, but literally a quadruple take because I couldn't believe it. I honestly, yeah, literally, my head was on a stick like this. I could not believe it. I thought Patrick Swayze had entered the chats. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it in my life. He's a blonde, kind of spiky haired dude, and he doesn't look anything like Patrick Swayze in real life to me. I've never ever thought that. Never looked at Eric and thought, hey, he's a dead ringer for Patrick Swayze. But when he came out, I honestly couldn't believe it. I was like, did they deep fake his face? How did they do that?
No, I think obviously the wig does a lot, but then I think um, perhaps they did a bit of contouring there as well, or something. Because you're right, I would not normally, and I've known Eric for quite a few years as well. I would never have looked at him and thought, oh, Patrick Swayze. But now I'm probably never going to be able to look at him without seeing Patrick Swayze ever again.
And of course, we can't ignore the fact that Charlie was
No.
doing a great Demi Moore as well.
Yes. No, I mean she's such a stunning woman as well. And here she looks really the face is, to carry a short wig, as we saw with Michaela as well, is not the easiest thing. Because again, it really comes down to your face shape as well and stuff. And I think if you put that wig on me, probably again, I wouldn't be the happiest because I just feel like that perhaps doesn't suit my facial features or my face shape. But again, she looked very, very cute. And this is what I'm saying. It's great because you still want to go out there and feel good and feel like you look good, even if you're impersonating somebody else or being in a different character or role. You don't want to go out and feel like you look not not good or not your best. And this is what also the Glam Squad is just so good at doing. They really get you to look at that. I mean, this was really such an acting moment as well. I just wish, like you guys said on your on both you and Matt said it, wish that wheel had been spinning a bit faster for the pottery.
It, yeah, definitely, but it didn't matter because honestly, that shot there, that screenshot that we have of them, it's
Stunning.
basically just been taken from the movie. Surely this can't be Charlie and Eric. It cannot be. It must be Patrick and Demi because it's so uncanny. The whole
Very
routine, I
uncanny.
just kept staring at them and thinking, how have they done that? How have they made them look so much like the actors in the movie?
Yes, definitely. And not to, but the costumes as well didn't take away from that. I like that she kind of wore the sparkles underneath as well, and then they had covered it up with this kind of thinner chiffony dress on top. So you saw the sparkles when she was skating and moving, but it wasn't, again, because this number, since it's such from this movie, it wasn't a sparkly, fun costume. So I think perhaps it was a bit tricky to clothe them as well for this number to not take away from the characterization.
Yeah, you're right. I think in the movie it was just more of a kind of a plain shirt that she was doing pottery in, and of course you can't have that on Dancing on
No.
Ice. They did a really good job just with a little nudge there to make it just edge
Yeah.
into a bit of glamour. But the whole routine for me, the story that they told, the connection that they had, the acting that they did was spectacular, but it was overshadowed by the fact that they looked just so uncannily like Patrick and me. Amazing.
This again, I'm thinking just quickly back to the creative team. I mean, I wonder how they came up with that idea and how long ago and how, it's a whole process for them as well. And again, just really have to take my hat off because it's not easy to, if you think about all the movies there are to choose from and choosing something that hasn't been on the show before or perhaps hasn't been recently on the show, I should say, and then something that really suits the couple as well.
Yes, incredible. Well done. Round of
Well
applause all
done.
round. I mean, I
Yes.
have to say, movie night is one of my favorite nights for this reason because you can just really let your imagination run wild, but at the same time, you're taking inspiration from iconic characters and iconic actors and actresses that we've seen on the screen and that we already know and love. So to take that and then make it your own, that's a big ask. And it used to be that movie week was at the same week as the Oscars because I think that's in March. But I believe now that with our series being a little bit shorter, there probably aren't as many people in
Yeah.
it on movie week or when the Oscars fall, so they probably have had to move it down a little bit so they can
Yeah.
get more movies in there. And yay, hooray for that because I'm so happy that we get to see more movies on movie week.
Yes. And now, last but not least, we had another very iconic movie as well. It's obviously I've watched this movie a thousand times, but it was Beauty and the Beast. And as the Beast, we saw Colin, and obviously the Beauty was Molly. And I think again here is a just a lovely, lovely way to showcase how important it is to look the part. And they certainly did. So I really enjoyed Molly's dress there. I thought she actually looked really good in dark hair as well. I know that's not her natural hair color. I don't think so, at least not the color we've seen her in. And obviously, Colin, that was quite a transformation as well. And I'm sure he was in the hair and makeup chair for quite some time. And look at those horns as well.
I mean, I can't imagine how Colin was feeling when they said to him, "Hey, this is your look for the week. We're going to stick some horns on your head and a massive wig." He
Yes.
looks like if a judge married goats. That's what they came out with. Very beastly, Colin. We love it. It was a beautiful performance, and you're right. I think the dress here, if you're going to think of Beauty and the Beast, of course, that bright gold, that yellow gold that Belle wore in the movie is the first thing that you think of. And I think that they did a really, really good job with this because they made it skateable as well. And we spoke about this on the Icebreakers podcast on the main episode that we often forget to mention that Molly's wearing a stoma bag. So we spoke a lot about it last year when Adele was wearing the stoma bag and how difficult that was, and rightly so. It's hardly been mentioned this year at all, and maybe Molly doesn't want to make a big deal about it, and I totally get that. But just think for costuming, they have to work around the fact that she has a hole in her
Yeah.
stomach. She has a hole through her tummy muscles.
Yeah.
So what they did here was it was very soft, it was very elegant, it was very beautiful, it was
Yeah.
romantic. The yellow really suited her. Yes, they gave her the darker hair, obviously in line with the character of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, which was again a departure. So it made her completely transformed from the Molly that we know. But honestly, that costume was to die for. And she's a young girl. I mean, she's 22, 23. I think this was the perfect fit for her.
Yeah. And I really like the small detail. I don't think we have a picture of it, but I remember in the back as well how this, off the dress was off the shoulders, but it's open in the back as well. So these small things that just make it, you know, look even, yeah, just grace her shoulders. And it's actually really nice because that means when you skate, you can move your arms a lot more as well. But you still have a bit of a sleeve as well, and things that move as you move, as you skate and as you move, which highlights highlights what you're doing, and really goes with the movie and the character as well. And it was such a cute performance. I really loved it for them. And they had a big set piece as well that they started in and finished in. So that we talked about that this would have been purpose built for them as well. And it takes a lot of work to do such a big piece as well. And they had it on the ice for the whole time whilst performing, which obviously then you have to skate around. But again, it adds to the for us viewers, adds to the whole feeling of being there with the Beauty and the Beast and in the movie.
Yeah, I think the sets this week, the lighting this week, the entire creative this week was really on point. There was
Yeah.
nothing really that you could say didn't quite go or didn't quite match. Everything was above and beyond, and probably one of the better movie weeks that we've seen in all of the series of Dancing on Ice, I'd say this year. It was really very high quality, very high standard. And it's a tight turnaround for everybody. Of course, ahead of the show starting, ahead of the series starting, they will have had these conversations about what kind of movies they'd like to do, but they don't know who's going to be left in the competition at this point. So they don't know
Yeah.
who's going to be skating to what. And they also have to have some spares on hand in case something goes wrong or something doesn't work, or they have to bring in an understudy. And so it's still a really tight turnaround for people. And I think probably viewers at home don't realize that there's a whole team of, carpenters and electricians and artists and set designers that are on the show, that are working, well, really long hours. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes 10, 15, 16-hour days, like we are as well, just to get these sets to look as glorious as they did. And what a job they did this week. I have to show you
Definitely.
this. I have
Yeah.
to show you this.
Well, this is another. I just love it, and we get to see a little bit of the backstage scene there, how hair and makeup is set up. But obviously, we also have a spot backstage where you do your touch ups, and if anything, needs to be fixed last minute. But I think what's also, even though I'm not a fan of not having, personally, I'm not a fan of not having the skate off. But I think for the glam squad, what we call the hair and makeup team and costumes, I think they really embrace this because that means that they can go full out for the looks as well, because they don't have to do that quick change into the Save Me Skate look, which usually isn't in character. It would be the same number that you have prepared every week. So you need to go into that same look. So not only before did Marcus have to take in mind, oh, this look for the main routine, he had to realize how much time you have to change into the other look as well, and if it's doable. So I think maybe in previous years, that's been sort of a point that they've had to take into consideration, and that's perhaps altered some of the looks that they might have wanted to put out there.
100%. Yeah, yeah, well said. Well, so
I think
that
it's,
was movie
yeah.
week, and we didn't even get to go there with Stephen, who was dressed as Alphabet, and Holly, who was dressed as Galinda the Great and the Good. I think the whole week was brilliant. Even the judges were in character, and I think it was really lovely that we got to see the pros do a routine that was very visually striking. The entire episode this week was really fun, and it was just about letting your imagination run wild. And I think because we still have so many people left in the competition, and it's such a difference between the different standards, everybody got to bring their own character. You might not be bringing the greatest of skating or the strongest of skating to the rink, but you did still get to act a little bit and have fun and tell
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. I'm excited for learning, because that's one thing actually I've never really, with all different makeups and stuff, I've actually never had to do any sort of animal makeup on a show or in life in general. So I'm
Well,
very, very excited for this.
I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off my eyelashes, peeps. Now, if you're doing this at home, don't just rip your eyelashes off like that, 'cause it can be quite painful. But I'm just off camera here. I do actually have some makeup. Now, I actually did a cat's. I'm going to do a cat's themed makeup for you today because I did one last year on the first series of the Icebreakers podcast when we were in the studio. And I pulled this little look together for movie week last year. So last year for movie week, I came as a character from the movie Cats, which is also obviously a Broadway and West End show. And I did pull that together while I was in the studio myself. I know that people sometimes think that we have hair and makeup, but we don't, because I know, Alex, that you did your fringe all by yourself today.
I know it's kind of falling down, so I'm going to make it look perky for this
Well, I
tutorial.
like that. Have you had any extraterrestrials trying to get hold of you? Because I feel like you're going to be getting
I
signals from outer
haven't,
space.
but maybe it was this that interrupted our signal earlier, perhaps, and we had so much problems. It could have been, you know, obviously I don't think I'll do this next week again, and also I need to wash that out to not go to bed and maybe perhaps wake up even more more wild tomorrow. But no, I mean it's fun that you can do one thing and hopefully people think of that movie straight away.
Yeah, I don't think Lucas will be able to handle that if you wake up like that tomorrow. So I have here some, I think sometimes people underestimate the power of white makeup, and this is a plain white face painting makeup. I've got a wet sponge, really important. Now I'm doing this in my phone, in my camera with my terrible eyesight. So I hope this works out okay for you guys. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate a little bit of what we had here last year, just on the one side of my face. And if you do have kids at home, you can maybe try it on them. Honestly, just practice makes perfect, obviously. But it's not that difficult. I think sometimes people get very caught up in, oh, what if it's not perfect? It doesn't matter. You're just making a tiger. It's just fun. But first of all, obviously, I have a Glinda style makeup on at the moment. Very fresh, very pink, very glittery. Not my favorite style of makeup, but I thought, hey, I got to have fun with Alphabet, so let's go with Glinda now. But I'm now going to put a white on top of that and basically blank out my eye. So I'm using this white makeup that, like I said, it's just a face paint, and I'm blanking everything out. Now, if you use white on your face, it makes a great base for any other color that you want to use. I had real problems this week getting my face to be green, and actually the green that I'd ordered just online, just from Amazon really, was a bit too army green, so I had to mix it with a white. And I do find that if you mix a white paint or you put a white base on, it's really going to make your colors pop. Now you can see already that that's completely transformed half of my face. So I'm just going to add some here, a little bit of highlight here, and just some on my muzzle, my cat muzzle. It's going to be weird doing half my face, so maybe I'll do my entire muzzle. There we go. So you get to see how the mouth takes shape as well. And I don't know, I think I'll just add a little blob up here for no apparent reason. But like you can see, there's nothing complicated, nothing technical about this. I've just basically added white all over my face in giant blobs. And it's not particularly neat and it's not particularly tidy. It's just some stripes because, of course, we're doing tiger stripes today. And then, of course, tigers are orange and white. They're not just white. And all I'm using today really are 3 colours. So this is just what you would use probably as what I would use as well as a blusher stick. It's just a creamy blusher stick, and it's quite an orangey shade. So I'm just using that to fill in the bits where the white has come together, just to make my face nice and orangey, as you can see. So I've got these highlighted white bits, I've got the orangey bits underneath. And then what you can do if you had more time, and obviously I don't have much time today, but what you could do if you had more time is just blend that in nicely. But what I like to do to make the orange pop a little bit more is grab an eyeshadow. And sometimes people forget that eyeshadow can be a really good friend. So if you grab an eyeshadow and a big brush like this, you can make that orange even orangier, and you can blend it in a little bit more by using this color here. So that's just an eyeshadow, and obviously most people wouldn't put eyeshadows on their face, but you can just blend that in a little bit more and give yourself more of an orangey colour. Now I still have the white highlights obviously, and I've still got my muzzle, but this is just taking the bright orange down and giving it a bit more of a mattifying colour to it. It looks funny having half of an orangey and white face. So I'm sure you're thinking, well, that's nothing like a tiger at the moment. But wait until I put the black on. So like I said, it's just three colors that I'm using here: orange, white, and black. So I've got my orange face on, I've got my white features, and then the real magic is when we add the black. So I've got two different blacks here. I've got a skinny one, which is basically an eyeliner, and I've got a black one, which I'm not sure. I think it might be what people would use as a black lipstick. I'm not entirely
Okay.
sure what you'd use this for,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's a plain black,
Mm-hmm.
um, sort of like it's almost like an inky black. So once you start to add the black, you're going to see a big difference. So I'm just going to follow the line of my eyeliner, of my eyebrow, sorry, and then I'm just going to start to add random stripes like a tiger. And this is where the transformation really happens. So now I'm going to start to look very much like a fearsome tiger.
Oh, you do already. I really like this. The color in that. I probably should use it. You said you have a thinner one as eyeliner one too, but I like this more. You get more color in this because I'm thinking otherwise I feel like the skinny eyeliner sometimes dry up as well. And then you'll be putting on forever. So this is a really, did you just get this off Amazon as well? Or is it just
Yeah, it's
because it just,
just
you don't buy it in a special like makeup store or anything. This is stuff that you can just buy
it's
um
called
off
MCO
Amazon.
trend
Oh,
color. So I just have this at home and I've used it before. It's actually running out a little bit, so I'll see how many stripes I can get on my
yeah.
face before
And
we run
obviously
out.
we're not making adverts here or anything. We're just we're just kind of showcasing what we have and what we use. And obviously both me and Frankie have done shows for so many years that I actually haven't done animal makeup, but I think Frankie, you've even had more things. And for most shows we're very spoiled on Dancing on Ice, but on most shows we do our own hair and makeup as well. So sometimes you just have to figure things figure things out last minute when it comes to this. And I remember joining shows, I had no idea about any hair or makeup or anything like this. So thankfully, there were some lovely girls with more show experiences, and they could show me. So I think this is us as well wanting to share what we've learned. I love that already, Frankie. It looks
Yes, I'm
really good. Yeah.
starting to look more tigery as I add more stripes to it. And then, of course, you can't just leave your eye like this, but I'm going to fill in my nose a little bit, and then you'll see that that starts to take shape. It's really hard doing it on my phone because there's like a delay. So when I add the makeup in, I can't quite see until about a second later what's happened. But it'll start to put the muzzle in. And then normally I would blank out, so I forgot to blank out my lips.
Oh yeah, so you don't. Yep.
So I look more like a cat. There we go. And then, of course, the most important thing is to get the cat eye. Now, at the moment, I just have the whites on my eye. But as soon as I add the cat eye, you're going to see a bit of a transformation. I'm going to have to concentrate on this, so you might need to take over and
Yes,
explain
that's
this,
what I was like.
Alex.
Yes. So obviously now she's putting and I think also you being very daring using the because I like that you get a lot more color with this. I myself when I do eyeliner struggle and I use a much thinner one and stuff. But I love how this actually paints on really nicely with this. You're right. It looks like a more of a lip gloss thing, but a wand. But it's actually quite fun. I don't think I've seen you with half a face. This could be a new thing as well, doing the makeup on half a face, and it's interesting when you do that. If you do your one eye, for example, even if it's not an animal look, it's very exciting to see the change, and I think that's how you learn again. And you learn by trial and error. So I think our message as well is don't be scared to try things, whether that's a new hairdo or something. But like Frankie said, I think you said it last episode as well. You probably don't want to try a massive new big look, whether it's makeup or hair, just before the big wedding or before the party. Just give yourself some time and do it on a random Wednesday with us, and just play with it and have fun and figure things out. Like we said, everybody's face is different, everybody's eye shape is different. So there's definitely techniques to adding, your eye shape, if that's or contouring, or how you would like to do your lips as well. But it's learning your face as well and taking time and playing. And sometimes something that you think could be a mistake ends up looking quite nice.
So I've
So I think
switched
you're
now to
really,
the thin eyeliner because you mentioned it. So yeah, I've switched now to the thinner eyeliner. I think with a tiger eye, you do need something quite dramatic. So actually using the thicker one was probably better to bring down this line
Yes.
and to do the top lid with.
Yeah.
But obviously the thinner one's working now underneath on my lash line. Now I would obviously
Yeah.
fill in my waterline with black, but pretty much that was in 5, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got half a tiger face
Yeah.
already.
I think it looks great.
Well, thank you.
I think it looks great.
And
Are
on
you
this
gonna
side,
scare?
I'm just Galinda.
I know. I know. We're really taking this to the new level. I mean, this could be a new concept, even for Dancing on Ice. You do half a movie and then half a movie, all in, all in one 90-second routine. That could be quite something that nobody's taken on before. But just putting ideas out there. But yeah, it looks quite good.
Amazing.
You're gonna scare David now and the cats when you go down.
Yeah, the cat's going to be terrified. Now, what I did with the obviously I had a lot more time when I did the one last year, but I added some gold highlights, which really helped to then bring the eye to life and the color pop. But there's so much fun you can have with this. Obviously, you'd put a little bit of gold on the
Yeah.
nose, and you would put some highlights maybe on the cheeks.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of fun with this if you had more time. But basically, yeah, that's your tiger stripes.
Well, look at
Hurrah.
that. And now nobody has an excuse. And all kids who want to have that for a party or even to do face painting at a party, it's a fun thing as well. And here you go, a small tutorial of that. So thank you so much, Frankie, as well, for
You're very welcome.
demonstrating. I think it's quite tricky actually demonstrating and doing it on your phone. So well done with all, with all the technical, if that's my hair, whatever, that's made us a bit tricky on the technical part today. But hopefully, obviously, this is our lookbook that we do weekly. So we're hoping next week that we won't have as many problems perhaps. But I'm excited. I think it's a personal skate next week. And obviously, everybody should catch your and Matt's main podcast, the Icebreaker podcast. And you'll be going live on Sunday after the show with your takes on the next episode and the remaining contestants there.
That's right. Right, so please do join us on Sunday night at about 8 or 8:30 p.m. We'll post the time closer to the show. So as soon as you've watched Dancing on Ice, switch over to Instagram Live. Matt, Evers, and I will be here from around 8:30 to talk you through all the technicalities of the routines that we see on Sunday. And then, of course, Alexandra Schauman and I will be back giving you all the glam download on Monday morning. Next week, we've got a little bit of a schedule clash. So next week, it's going to be Monday morning, right around noon. But stay tuned, keep up with our socials, and we'll let you know when and where to catch us. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. It's been a pleasure talking you through all the glam, all the looks, all the costumes, all the creatives of Dancing on Ice. And we hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and follow us. I'll get in trouble for Matt Evers for not saying that.
Yes, and I want to say thank you so much as well for having me co-host with you tonight, Frankie. You look stunning. I'm still loving this half Glinda the Good, half Tiger. And yes, make sure you tap the button, give us a follow both on the lookbook and on Icebreakers podcast. You can find that on here and all your social media. I think you're everywhere, Frankie, right? You have it on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere, and obviously wherever you get your podcasts as well. So thank you so much for tonight. Right. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I need to go and sort my hair out.